Hi everyone. I've decided to come back and do another video today after my marathon to answer one hashtag, which is pretty sad. But yeah, sorry. Now I'm jiggling the camera. This is just going to be a quick video on a topic that Mary Grace Farron got me thinking about, because she was talking about decks that she loves the artwork on, but she doesn't really resonate with being able to work with them. Like, and do you keep decks that you just think are pretty, or do you, pass them on to someone else? And how many times is it difficult to give up that connection that you have with a deck because of its artwork, but necessarily you're never really working with it because you just don't have that connection. Now, I don't have any decks like that in my collection right now. Not to say that, okay, let's put it this way. Physical copies of decks, in that I don't have any physical copies, but I've been actually thinking about this for a long time because I'm a person, I love to read, and I love books. I love real books. I love to hold a copy of a book. But on the other hand, I'm now fully engaged in the society in which we live. Is, in fact, as far as like everything's mobile, and the convenience of having your books on a Kindle or another device, instead of an actual book that you hold in your hands, and the true reality that books are becoming, something that we're probably not going to see in the future. I mean, libraries even have to change the way they are working. Even they have digital libraries now because no one's actually going in to get the physical book. And for me, I still have the love of paper, but I have to deal with the reality of space. And even bookstores where you could trade in your books, they're becoming something of the past too. We had one, and now it's, at the end of October, closed down. It's just not a medium. It's not a viable business to even recycle books. I get a lot of my books from Savers and also Goodwill, and I'm happy that there's still places that have books, but I'm also a realist, and I'm coming to the point where I'm thinking, in a few years from now, that may not even be an option. Everything may be digital, and that's the way it's going to go. And sometimes when you get digital copies of books too, I think sometimes the way they scan them, or they're blurry, and yeah, so there's a whole, I always feel like I'm caught between how I feel on it. But when Mary Grace was talking, I was thinking, wow, okay, so I was thinking to myself, well, I don't have any decks that I feel that way about. And then I'm thinking, okay, now hold on a minute. You do. You don't have the physical copy of it, but you have the app. And the whole reason why I got the app is because, well, what is it? It's like a test drive, right? But then I got the goddess, one of the goddess oracles on the app on my iPad, and I actually didn't feel the need to get the actual copy of the deck after I had it on the app. I love the images, and I love the artwork, but I did not feel the need to spend, I think at the time it was almost $30, to get the actual deck, because I just knew I was not going to use that deck. I would like to sit and look at the pretty pictures, but I wasn't going to get it. So I'm just like putting this out there, like, how many people use and access an app for their tarot, and do you actually get apps, and you've gotten them and then you like them? I still use that Goddess Oracle on the app, and I look at the pictures, and sometimes that's what I just want to do. But it's not taking up any space. It's not taking up any physical space. I didn't spend a tremendous amount of money on it. So there's no guilt to it, and there's no need, like, I'm not going to pass the app on to somebody, no. But it's confined in this technological device, where I can enjoy it and for what it is. So what is that going to do to tarot in the future? I would love to have people's opinion on this, because right now, Mary Grace had shown that the Victorian fairy tarot that she got was gifted, and how that, you can't get that anymore. And how she was, she just loved it. It's just wonderful when that happens, when somebody really wants something and they get it. I just think that's awesome. One of the other great things about YouTube is just the way you can get connected to people. And I was so happy for her. And then she said that she had the app, and I'm like, oh yeah, that I like totally forgot about the app. I got that Goddess War goal on it on my iPad, and I kind of forgot about even looking for other ones. It was kind of weird. So I went and I got the app for the Victorian fairy tarot. I think I called it Oracle. Pardon me, tarot. And I love it. And I really felt like, do I need to even? I mean, I like it. But the odds of me getting a real copy of it are probably like nil. I'm not going to really pay an exorbitant amount of money to get it. And then I got thinking, well, do I need it? It comes with a book. You're able to do actual draws. You can draw a card. You can do. They have different spreads within the app. And it got me thinking, okay, so what other decks have I been having on my list, and kind of back and forth about, do I want them, do I not? And maybe I would be happy with just the app version of it, and that's enough. The other one was the Linda Hunt, I think. I'll put it in the description box if I get it wrong. But her fairy tale tarot, absolutely love it. Now, it's on my wish list, the Spanish version, because that's the only one you can get. And I think that's like over $30, $34 on Amazon, I think, for the Spanish version, if I want to get a physical copy, because I love the artwork. Doesn't matter if it's in Spanish. I know some Spanish, so it doesn't matter to me. But then I am also debating, well, do you need the physical copy? Because I love the artwork. Do I really? So my time that I'm going to be spending with the app is going to be in making that determination. And of course, by the time I make up my mind, probably the Spanish version will be gone. But is it a great tool? Do others use it? And do you see this in the future to be the same kind of a situation that is happening with electronic books and pushing out the actual physical books? Is there a time that you can see yourself not wanting to get a physical copy of a deck at all and being happy with just the app? And I was thinking, the more we experience, and even the people that have where they read for others and they do it digitally, or they do it online, or virtually, is using a maybe if they made the apps more sophisticated, where you could actually, I don't even know, I haven't explored the apps, maybe you can do them, I don't know, but where you can take an actual digital reading for someone and have it so that the cards could turn, and you can pretty much put in your talk along to it, as and actually do a reading for someone, and then just send that off in an email to them, and they'll have the experience of seeing the cards flip. And do you actually, is that going to happen? I know there are some tarot reading apps, but I haven't researched them. But this got me thinking about it, maybe there'll be people that won't even, how many decks can you store and how many can you have? And wouldn't this open up an entire ability for you to own multiple and multiple decks. But what is that going to do to the tarot industry? Now, right now, I know the apps are fairly cheap, but for some reason, if physical cards decided to go the way of physical books, then maybe the digital apps would become more expensive, but they'd also have to allow you to do more of them with them to actually replace a physical deck. Anyways, I'm probably rambling on a bit, but that's just something that I was thinking about. And I actually ended up getting the Wizard's Tarot, which you can no longer get, it's out of print. The Romani Tarot that I wanted for so long. It was on the app, and I'm talking $3.99 for the Wizard's Tarot, $3.99 for the Romani that you can't even get anywhere. And I believe the Victorian Fairy Tarot was also $3.99. They're all $3.99. I think the ones from Hay House are like $7.99. Most of their decks are like $7.99, $6.99. But I mean, you can get Lucy Cavendish decks. You can get, there's a lot for right now. There's a lot. I was a perfect example. I love Will Worthington's artwork. I just did my Council of Tarots, and the Wildwood is my favorite. And when I was talking on that, I said, "Oh, I have all of his artwork," and I do. I'm not lying when I say this, but then I realized, you know what? 2 of those decks and the artwork are digital, are on an app, and so. So what does that mean? And I actually thought, oh yeah, I got them. Well, I do have them. I don't have a physical copy of them. And I didn't feel like I needed to get the physical copy. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what other people think of that. I have some that I am considering I'm going to be getting them. Hay House actually on the app lets you have them, I think, for 7 days, and then you decide whether you want to buy them or not, and that's kind of neat too. Instead of just getting it, but theirs are more, they're a little bit more than the $3.99. They're like $7.99. But that's not a lot of money either when you're comparing. So that's what I mean. I know I actually watched Lucy Cavendish on her channel on YouTube, and she mentioned one of her decks, that you can, through Hay House, get the app of it to explore. It has the full copy of the book. I mean, there's some guidebooks out there that you want, and it's the full guidebook. So why do you have to buy the deck? Explore the apps and get the guidebook. You can get it for $3.99, or $7.99 if it's a Hay House book. So a Hay House deck. So I don't know. To me, I think it's going to be the wave of the future, but I don't know. I think are people going to be like I am in books, where I want my hard copy books, but to the point of, for convenience, and if you can draw a card, pick a card, do a spread with the app, why do you need to physically hold them? And is it because you think you're getting your energy into the cards, or is that just a grounding space that you need to be in and a connection? I would really like to know people's opinions on this. So that's the first half of the video, and the very quick other half of the video is I'm going to share some books that I thrifted at my local Goodwill and my Savers. Not all of them are metaphysical books, but I just thought I would share my finds, and obviously, they're not a lot of money. So one of the books that I got, because I do love to read, and I got this book. I've never even heard of this, but called The Book of Air and Shadows, and it's Shakespeare's Lost Masterpiece or a Deadly Fake? That is the question. And when I read it, I love Shakespeare. I think I mentioned I loved English literature. I'm just going to skip down here. In a frantic race from New York to England and Switzerland, Jake finds himself matching wits with a shadowy figure who seems to anticipate his every move. What at first seems like a thrilling puzzle waiting to be deciphered soon turns into a dangerous game in which no one, family, friends, lovers, is to be trusted. And he's an intellectual property lawyer. And it's been a deadly chase to find the world's greatest treasure, Shakespeare's last lost play. So it just I love mysteries and I love Shakespeare, and I thought, well, never heard of this book, so I got that one. The other books that I got, and this was actually from Mary Grace, and I had never really, I have some astrology books, but I never really heard of Linda Goodman because apparently I live under a rock. But this was in one of the stores. I can't remember if it was the Savers or if it was the Goodwill, but it was Linda Goodman's Star Signs. And so I picked that up. It wasn't a lot, so I got that one. And then I went to another of the stores. This was all in like one day. There on the shelf was Linda Goodman's Love Signs. So I thought, wow, great. And I'm having so much fun reading these. Really, I was just like giggling when I was reading my sign and my husband. I'm a Virgo and my husband's a Scorpio. And just the description of how that relationship works when you don't think it would is hilarious. I just love the way she writes. And I got her sun signs, but that I ordered off of Amazon, but it was a used copy and it was actually from a Goodwill. And that's one of the things I love to do on Amazon is if I'm getting a used book, I will look for a Goodwill marketer on there, like a Goodwill that is actually selling the book on Amazon on their marketplace there, because I like supporting a charity. That's just me. I mean, obviously, if I can't get it any other way, I do use the other sellers on there as well. But I do like to support Goodwill. So I was thrilled that the sun signs was actually being sold on Amazon, and I did get it, but I don't have it here. I'm not as organized as I thought, but I did end up getting. So now I have all three of those books. One of the other books that I got, and this is actually it's a Llewellyn Publishing, and I'm fascinated by the stories of Atlantis. And so this is Shirley Andrews, Atlantis Insights from a Lost Civilization. And to me, that just sounds fascinating. Me and archaic, oh, there's a glare, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's all about the legend of it, and she uncovers the living legacy in Atlantis, insights from a lost Atlantic civilization. She's traveled exclusively to conduct her own comprehensive research, and she mentions respected psychic Edgar Casey. So I don't know. I'm going to see what this. It just intrigues me. And like I said, this was a Llewellyn publication. So yeah, I'm getting. I'm looking forward to actually reading this. Of course, it's already. We already have our winter weather starting here. We got just a dusting of snow, but I mean, last night it was like 18 degrees. So I've got the wood stove on now because today it was in the 40s all day. And this is the time of year I just love to snuggle up with my books and have a fire going in the wood stove, and yeah, it's like heaven. So I was thrilled. One of the other books I got was Eckhart Tolle. I'm never sure if it's Tolle or Toll, but I always say Toll. I love him. I just love him. The Power of Now was a wonderful book, and this I didn't have any other books of him from him, and A New Earth: Awakening Your Life's Purpose, and I just thought, oh, yes, I'm going to get it. he's just so inspiring. He's so calm. I strive to be calm. I really do. But he just, if you could maintain his whole outlook and the way he thinks, I just love him. I love his little laugh too. I watch him on YouTube as well, and I just think he's just so funny the way he laughs. It's just so endearing, and I just love how he talks. I love everything he writes about. Is The Power of Now was such a big impact on me. So when I saw another one of his books, I thought, oh yes, I'll get it. This other book is like one of my husband is, I think I said before, he's from England, and he was in the Royal Navy, and he was fortunate that he was able to travel, like, all over the place while he was in the Navy. And one of his favorite places was Italy. And I've been to Canada. I've been to Quebec. That's the only time I've ever left the country. That was in college. So I have always wanted to travel to England, Ireland, Scotland, but also Italy has always been on my high list of places to visit, just because of the history alone. Beautiful architecture, and just my Catholic upbringing. Everybody has to go to Italy at one point, I think. I want to go to Venice. That's one of the places I do want to go to, and that was one of his favorite places. But I found this book, and it's called La Bella Vita, Daily Inspiration from Italy. Now, when as I have said, I consider myself a hodgepodge, so I don't limit my my readings, or even my spiritual practice still incorporates a lot of my Catholic beliefs, although this is not a Catholic book. I believe they were missionary, a Baptist church actually, and my mother was actually Baptist, and she married a Catholic, so I can claim some Baptist. She never was very religious though, and that's why she didn't have problems with my dad saying that the kids could be raised Catholic, because she was like, yeah, okay. But they went to Italy. They set up, I think, a church, a ministry there. So this is basically just their lives and different. It looks like it goes by different regions. It talks about wine, and there's a psalm with each one. Like this is an interesting regional delights. On this one here, it says, when Elizabeth Taylor was asked how a trip to Italy was, she responded, "The pasta was wonderful. Some tastes are so linked with location. They bear the names of those cities. Rich pastas, such as spaghetti alla bolognese, served with lots of cheese, tomato sauce, and ground beef fare in the manner of Bologna, which is also known for its processed meats." Now Mary Grace is going to say, oh my Lord, she's going to slaughter this stuff. Un Fiorentino, a large juicy beef steak named for Florence, which also gives its name to pasta made with spinach and ricotta cheese and ravioli alla Fiorentina. Okay, I'm going to stop slaughtering that before Mary has to put in earplugs. But yeah, so it's just little tales of their trips and what they found through Italy, and it's got the quotes from the Bible at the top, but that doesn't bother me. I'm finding it fascinating to read. And then I got a book of Anthology of Irish Verse, which I'm looking forward to delving into. And this was kind of interesting because this is a goddess oracle that I haven't had, or it wasn't even really on my wish list, but there was the book to the deck. The deck wasn't there. Although it did say that if the deck was included, I think they were going to charge. I got to find this because everyone will laugh. Wouldn't you like to get a fairly new deck with cards With the cards, it would be $5.70. Well, the cards weren't there. Unfortunately, I was quite upset. But the book will do, because I, for one, enjoy the guidebooks, and I don't have the deck, but obviously it's like with any guidebook that comes with the pictures are there. And I have a goddess oracle already, like I mentioned on my app. So yeah, so I'll decide whether I actually need the physical copy of this oracle or not, but I'm going to look forward to reading that oracle book. And the other book that I got was Wherever You Go, There You Are. Apparently it's mindfulness meditation for everyday life, by John Kabat-Zinn, author of Full Catastrophe Living and Coming to Our Senses. Great titles, I think. But I just love that wherever you go, there you are, because isn't that the truth? So I'm looking forward into finding it's about meditation and the art of paying attention, listening to your heart rather than withdrawing from the world. And meditation can help you enjoy it more fully. I'm one that I would love to be able to meditate more effectively than when I try, because half the time I start and I'm asleep. I fall asleep when I meditate, so that's not a good thing. So that's just a few books that I thought I'd share that I was able to thrift. And like I said, the main part of this video is just getting everyone's opinion on what you think. You know, are we someday going to be thrifting hard copy decks because, you know, they're becoming a thing of the past and not so popular? And what do you actually think about that? You know, like, do you think it would be a way to use decks in a way that was less limiting as far as space? You could collect as many as you wanted and store them on your device. How do you feel about it? So I just like everyone's opinion. For me, I think it's interesting. I think I would have the same feelings I do right now about books. I'm kind of torn between the convenience of having them on a Kindle, but actually loving the feel, the smell, and holding a real book. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you back on one of my next videos. Thanks. Bye.